Welcome to another episode of moTV. Tonight we are in Guelph. You recognize this place, the Albion Hotel, the site of some amazing momondays with one of the most active, most enthusiastic, one of the most story enthusiastic people I know. So grab a drink, or whatever it is. It could be a cup of tea, could be a glass of water, could be a coffee. Whatever you need to make yourself comfortable, settle in, because we're going to meet the moHost of momondays Guelph. We're going to meet an amazing musician and a great storyteller speaker coming right up. Rob Osburn, how are you?
Hey, Michelle, I'm great.
That's
a little bit warm tonight, won't lie.
Yeah. So it is a hot one. It is. Let's get right to it. You've been a moHost of momondays Guelph for what? 2 years?
No, about a year and a half.
We're coming up to 2 years.
Yeah.
What was going on? Like, for the people who don't know momondays, let's start there. For the people who have never heard of momondays, don't know what it is, how would you describe it?
Well, what I like to tell people is, it's kind of like the minor leagues for TED Talks. That first of all gets them going, okay, it's people speaking. And then what I heard actually one time from my counterpart in Barrie, he said it's kind of like a giant campfire where we sit around and share stories. So we're at the Albion Hotel after COVID and before COVID, where we have 6 speakers who come up in an evening and a musician. And they just share. It's very inspirational, motivational. It's awesome.
And you mix in what kind of stories?
It could be anything from, someone who's gotten over an illness and kind of championed that. It's someone who might have a cautionary tale for something that happened in their life. When I did my momondays talk years ago, it was more of kind of some anecdotes that were kind of funny, but
and they
kind of
were funny. You also did
theme.
That talk in Toronto. I remember.
I did that talk in Toronto. I think that was the best I did. It was in Toronto.
Oh, come on! You do it the best every single time, Rob. You do.
I try.
It was good. No, it's good. And you mix in music, you mix in some comedy, some intense stories. You've got such a phenomenal range of storytellers and momondays Guelph. So what got you started thinking that storytelling? Because I know storytelling is a big part of who you are. Talk to me about that. Where'd it come from?
So my day job, I'm a media producer, content producer. I've worked on Survivor. I've worked in news. I've worked in television. So being behind the camera, telling stories is something that I've done for a really long time. And so it was actually my predecessor that invited me out to a momondays probably 3.5, 4 years ago to check it out. And I was just amazed. There were 6 people that spoke that night. I actually knew a couple of them, but didn't know much about them, and just heard all these wonderful and interesting stories. I was hooked. I just loved it. And so I actually offered to help them out with some audio visual. And then I took over the latest incarnation with my partner, Lisa Browning, who is also wonderful.
Huge partner for you. Like, you guys complement each other so well.
We really do. She's amazing. She did one of these with you maybe six or 7 weeks ago, and she was awesome.
She is good. It's fun. Let's go back to momondays Guelph. I'm gonna need your help here, because momondays Guelph is one of the longest running momondays locations we have in the whole community of momondays. So the first one was Michael, remember?
Michael Salisbury.
Michael Salisbury. People should know his name in Guelph, yes.
Yeah.
We went from him to Renata. I'm doing all this. Renata Donovan, remember?
Yeah.
I'm saying remember, but did you ever go?
I didn't. I know the next one, though.
Okay, tell me.
It was Crystal Lee Moore?
That's absolutely it.
Yeah.
Yes, good
and then it was Kevin Cahill.
You got it.
Angela. Oh, I'm gonna botch your last name. Brzezinski.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's how I say it.
Yeah. She's gonna
So,
slap
and the thing is that every moHost brings their own flavor, brings their own personality. Yes, there's the standard kind of format that we all bring. But listen, my day job is all about helping people bring out their core differentiation in anything they do in their business, their branding, and everything. It would be disingenuous of me if I said, no, you have to do it exactly this way all the time, and everybody. No, so everybody brings their own unique personality to bear on their momondays. And so, how would you characterize yours?
Well, I would say with Lisa, she has a really strong network with a lot of people that have amazing stories, and so what she really brings is something is kind of an element that there's always some sort of emotion or character to the people that she brings in. And for myself, I'm kind of a struggling stand-up comedian because I'm usually on the the back side of the camera, but I've always wanted to be on the front side of the camera. So what I try to do is I could try to get my my opening monologue in every show and try and warm up the crowd with something funny.
And you do,
I've done that pretty well. I'm pretty satisfied with how I've done that. We have a good time.
And Lisa, I think it's fine to say, Lisa, how many anthologies? She's just about to do another book of stories, personal
Yeah.
stories. What, she's on to her fourth anthology?
Yeah, I just forget the number, but she's done a lot.
A lot.
And
So
and
storytelling is a big part of who she is. We know that. And storytelling is a big part of who you are, Rob.
yeah, I love to when I meet people, to hear about their journey, where they've been, what they've learned. Some people are very funny and they don't take themselves too seriously, but they can, describe how they've overcome something. There was a gentleman that spoke a couple months ago, Sean Furlot, he got up there and said, this next 10 minutes is completely cautionary. I'm just going to start rolling. And he had us all in stitches, just kind of talking about some of his experiences.
So is there and oh, wait, before we even get to that question, let me ask you this, because I know that, and not every Mo Mondays does it this way, but there's a special emphasis on local for you.
Yeah, what we tried to do, what Lisa and I set out to do a year and a half ago, was to really seek out, for the most part, speakers and that were people that were in our community, in our city, in the surrounding area, so that people would come out, their friends, their coworkers would come out and support them. And what we've really found in doing that is we've kind of developed our own group of regulars who come out every time, or almost every time, and it's become kind of community, almost like a church, where you come on a Sunday and see all your friends and people.
Except you go on a Monday evening and you drink and you
exactly.
eat.
Yeah.
Kind of like a church, except, but I get it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
the fellowship part of it.
Yeah. No, I think we laugh about the whole church metaphor or analogy, but there is real truth to it, because we find the community, we find that there's a sense of spirituality, a commonality, universality with the stories. I know that whenever I watch and listen to somebody share a story on stage, what always amazes me is that it doesn't matter what ethnic background, what sexual orientation, what country they come from, what English is their first language or not, color, doesn't matter. But when they're sharing their story, you hear that? When they're sharing their story from that place, all we see is human.
Yeah, exactly. We're not political. We're not religious. We're just about people, all people. And we just want you to come and share with us. Tell us your story.
And we have fun too.
Yeah.
So give me an example. Huh?
We have a blast.
I was there. I know. Give me an example of maybe a time when a Mo Mondays Guelph speaker had an especially big impact on somebody or the audience or in general or the community. Some big moment.
Oh, there's been a few. and I'll just recap that. I think Lisa told last time, there was a gentleman that spoke and was so impactful that the woman that went on after him, she was she was still kind of processing his story and worked that into hers, and that was kind of special. But what really moved me the last while was we had a momondays evening in the autumn, where at the end we kind of do a curtain call or a bow. Everyone comes back up that's been a part of that evening on stage, and I kind of say goodbye and we do a bow. And what happened was, after that happened, all 6 speakers, they just all started hugging each other and talking and crying and complimenting each other. And Lisa and I just kind of sat there going, wow, like we've never seen that happen. And it was just everyone connected with everyone that night. It was so special. You had to be there.
And if anybody is watching this or listening to this, and you're anywhere close to Guelph, Ontario, I highly recommend you go check out a momondays Guelph, and you'll find as soon as you start up the events again, if people go to momondays.com, they'll see, and then you click on, I think it's called Mo Locations at the top.
Yeah.
You'll see the next one for momondays Guelph. So this is a question that I ask all the Mo-hosts when they come on the show. I say, and I know it's an unfair question, but I'll ask it anyway because I always ask it. I said, I always ask the Mo-host to bring a speaker on, and we're going to watch a little clip of their talk from momondays. And it's hard to say, it's like asking a parent which of your children you love the most. That's what makes it unfair. But tell me about the one that we finally decided on for showing and featuring in this episode.
Well, parents can always have their current favorite, right? As long as they kind of rotate a little bit, right?
But we don't talk about it.
We don't talk about it. So I've decided to bring on my friend Abhi. He is someone who I met a year ago. I've worked with him a little bit with an initiative in town. He's just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person. He's originally from far away, and he's lived in many places. And his story and his sharing just about kind of embracing home was just really, really meaningful to everyone that heard him that night.
So he's born in
India.
And he's
wait. Northern Africa.
He's born in Northern Africa.
Yeah. Lived in India.
Moved to
either UK or the States. I don't want to spoil it. I want to let him do it.
I'll tell you what. Let's watch his video. We've got a 2-minute clip of his video, and he's going to share the story. I've watched this now several times. I love the way he approaches this whole concept of home, what home is, where home is, and why home is. So here we go.
For me. So my name is Abhi, and I moved to Canada roughly 3 years ago. And it took me about 10 or 15 minutes after I set foot at Pearson International for the first time for me to feel like this was home. My wife and I got out. We got picked up by a cab driver. He was a Somalian-Canadian cab driver. And he asked us, so where are you guys from? And I told him, try to keep up with this, okay? So I was born in India. I grew up in Africa. I was homeschooled. I went back to India for undergrad, went to Michigan for grad school, met my wife, who was Brazilian and French-Canadian. We have a little cat who is Siberian. We got married in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and we're now moving to Guelph. Isn't that confusing? I said. My Somalian-Canadian cab driver looked at me and he said, it doesn't matter, man. Welcome to Canada. Here's the underlying truth, the bedrock that underpins every single concept about home. Home is not just a place on the map, right? Home is not just where you feel made to feel welcome. Home is not just where you feel like your sense of a belonging. Home is not just an instinct either. Home is actually a habit. And belonging can be a practice. You can get better at belonging in places. You can work hard to deepen your sense of belonging and really feel like home. For me. So my name is Abhi.
Oh, there we go. Abhi, how are you doing?
Doing all right, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I forgot that the video auto advances to the next scene, so I clicked on it and it went back. So anyway, welcome. So Abhi is short for Abhilash, and your last name is Kantamneni.
Ah, very nice. Very well done.
I did okay, huh?
You are one of the few, my family included, who could say that.
What a beautiful story, and what a beautiful story. I have a question. Your whole notion of what home is, and your definition, your definition of home, and your idea that it's a habit and a practice. When did that come to you?
It's something that I've been building on over a while, but I think it really solidified. To be honest with you, when I started putting together the momondays talk, because I wanted to speak, I figured having lived in 4 different continents, I had a lot of experience to share. But being able to think of my experiences and trying to come up with an underlying concept that underpins all of them, I thought and as I was preparing the momondays talk, it really solidified in my mind. I've been thinking about home, and finding a place of belonging means a lot to me, having traveled to a bunch of different places. So I know what it feels like, and I know when it feels like your home. But I wanted to translate that in a way that people can turn it into an active practice. And this momonday talk helped kind of solidify that concept.
So that's interesting to me, and I'll tell you why. Because a lot of people, they apply to speak at momondays, and if you're listening to this and you want to share a story at momondays, I'll tell you right now, go to momondays.com/speak, and you could put in your application to speak there. So, but people put there, or the moHost asks them, hey, I know you've got a good story, would you share it at momondays? And most people, they say, I know what my story is. I know my story. And so therefore, there are some people who think they don't need to work on it. They don't need to craft it. They don't need to write it out because you know your story. But what I found is that the people who kind of do it right, and I say do it right because that's what you did, you actually sat down to work it out, they discover things about their own story that they hadn't realized before. It's like peeling back the proverbial layers of an onion. And you had a notion of the story you wanted to tell, true, but you discovered things along the way. So talk to me about that kind of discovery process.
Yeah, I think storytelling is an opportunity to live parts of your life thrice, many times over. It's like a time travel back into your own past, right? So when
I love that. Wait a minute. I want to repeat that so that I'll burn it into my memory. Storytelling is an opportunity to live your life twice.
Yeah. And so sometimes things happen to you, at you, and you participate in it. And your frame of mind your mind is in a different frame, and you experience it one way. And then after, when you go back to revisit certain moments, given the length and time that you've had to either reflect on it or be shaped by other experiences, you go back, and it's an opportunity for you to revisit that again and come away at it with a new interpretation. So I'll pull an example from my momondays talk. There's a story that I tell there where I met a person at a gas station in a small town in the middle of nowhere.
In Michigan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And someone had likely not met an Indian person before. And so we had this good moment. And in the past, when I've told that story, it was kind of a funny anecdote about my experiences traveling in rural parts of Michigan. But then when I went to revisit it, and with this frame in mind, with the frame of what does it mean to be home, I revisited that anecdote, and I ended. Spoiler alert, but that story ends with the lady coming around at the counter and giving me a hug and saying, "This is on behalf of your family in India," because I told her I hadn't seen my family in a long time.
And so it was an opportunity for me to revisit that and see the inherent humanity in that moment, where two people were able to transcend across, culture and barriers and so on. So I was able to, I guess, relive a part of my, a small segment of my life again, in the context of telling the story. And that's not this, and I think it's a fine line to walk, because you don't want to editorialize too much. You don't want to take an aspect of your story and turn it into something that's not, but it gives you an opportunity to experience them again. And I like what you said about spending some time telling these stories. I think we all know our story, but we seldom think about our audience who's in the room listening to our story, and whether they're able to appreciate the significance of some of this.
Yeah,
But also,
I think very, very clearly,
yeah,
I believe you only derive the true meaning of your story when you have to share it with someone else.
absolutely. And also, you have to, one thing I was very conscious of is the fact that the story was going to be recorded, so people will come back and revisit it at a different time. And so I wanted to create a take-home message of not only people knowing about my story, but giving them something active that they can practice. Because I know that a sense of alienation and social isolation is increasing now, even much before COVID happened. COVID has only exacerbated that. So I wanted to give people just a quick rule of thumb to how they can deepen a sense of belonging with places they call home. And so I crafted aspects of my life, and momondays gave me the opportunity to impart what I felt was a rule of thumb in how people can find more meaning in the places where they live and call home.
Well, storytelling is very clearly a big part of your life. We notice in the URL right below your name, there's something called Royal City Stories. And also, I learned that you just won an award, and I have a feeling those two things are connected. Am I right?
Yes, and there's a thread that connects, I feel, every aspect of every activity that I'm involved in, which is participating. The thread is participating meaningfully in the places that I call home.
Wait. You said that so fast. Say it again.
Participating meaningfully in the places that I call home.
Participating meaningfully in the places that I call home. Wouldn't it, like, come on. If everybody in the world lived with that kind of motto, how beautiful would that be?
I think it would be great. And I think a lot of people, and that lesson, I feel has been reinforced in this time of COVID. So the award, the latest award that I won is the Mayor's COVID Hero Award, because me, alongside several other people in the community, had stepped up to help with relief efforts, to help support local businesses and local community members so that they can stand tall. And this is outside of the context of everything that I do for living, right? And so I call these people informal volunteers, people who rose up to the occasion because they wanted to participate meaningfully in their home. And Royal City Stories I'm partnered with Rob on this, and we're producers on the show. It tells stories of people in our community here in Guelph and how they are creating value for themselves and people around them by participating meaningfully in the place that they call home, which is Guelph. So this thread that weaves through all the different projects I'm involved in is being intentional about living somewhere, belonging somewhere, and doing something meaningful with your time.
And I've been involved in storytelling. I got into storytelling totally a different route, because my background is in advertising and branding and differentiation. And what I found, whenever I would do my corporate work, or I would be called in to help a company or a solopreneur or whoever it was, small group, large group, to help them figure out their core differentiation in the market for commercial purposes. But what I found was that every time I got to the real center of their differentiation, there was always a story. And so storytelling, and what I found is that the communication of that, the learning of that story for ourselves, and the passing on to that story to other people, is the most powerful form of communication that we have. So if you are sharing stories of and about people in Guelph, it is perhaps the most inspirational, motivational, empowering thing that you could be doing there in Guelph. So good for you.
Thank you. And I think it helps people know more about the city they live in, and give them an entry point into, again, I keep saying this like a broken record, but to participate more meaningfully in the community, know about the ways in which others are elevating people. So
Very
we're very
cool.
happy with
Now
what we're
we are super lucky on this show that we have more than one Guelph Award winner.
That's true.
Were you the momondays that? Hey, Rob.
Hey.
So just in time, because we are about to introduce the musician. Now, music has always been a part of momondays. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. Music has been a part of momondays when Stephanie in Winnipeg called me up one day, say, "Hey, Michel, I brought in a musician last week." And I thought, oh no, really? It's going to dilute the whole storytelling thing. And the next thing she said, it was the best thing I ever did. And then I watched the video and I say, yep, it's the best thing we could do. And then musicians became a part of momondays all across the country. And music has definitely been a part of of momondays Guelph. Do you want to talk to us about the musician that's coming up?
Musicians are great storytellers. So we've got CJ Cooper, who she hasn't performed at a momondays show yet because of COVID. She would have likely this month or last month, and I'm really excited to get her on our stage. But she's someone who she also won the Mayor COVID Hero Award, just like Abhi. We run a site called Guelph This and That. It's got about 12,000 people. It's just a community Facebook site, and through one of our members, Carmela, she invited CJ to do 30-minute concerts 3 times a week from, I think, March, April, and then into May. And so CJ gave so much time to our Facebook community, and she took requests, and then she'd come back the next time, and she had learned these songs and performed them for everyone. She was a big hit, and really excited to have you talk to her tonight.
And I'm really excited too. So hey, CJ,
Hi.
how you doing? How are you doing? You know what? You put out a video not long ago.
Yes.
And again, I didn't, but I'm sure Rob did. I didn't intentionally have this thread going through the show. This whole thing about storytelling as a community building thing, and so you put out a video that features a whole bunch of involvement from people from the community. Talk to us a little bit about that, and then before we go any further, I want to show that video, and then we'll come back to you. So how would you set that up?
Yeah, so I wrote the song, oh, bye, Rob. So I wrote the song in March, maybe like a week or two into the live streams, because, you know, March was definitely like a dark place for everyone. We were trying to figure it out. So I wrote the song, and then I realized that me writing the song really helped how I felt, so I wanted to put it out there for other people to hear. So I asked in the Facebook group for people to just send me videos of, you know, their version of quarantine and what they were doing to kind of lift their spirits. So the video is just a compilation of everyone in the community, and yeah, it was really fun.
And I love the song. If you are watching and listening to this right now, you are in for a treat. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Put a comment in the Facebook post, so wherever you have under the video, under the live stream. Tell us where you're from. Tell us what you're excited, and tell us what you think about this video. You ready for it?
Sun is up, we lift our head, wonder whether we should rise from bed. Oh, looking out the window, longing for what used to be. And we wonder when we can live again. try. Because we feel right now that life is hard, but hope is coming, let down your guard. Someday soon I know we'll be out of the shadow, out of the shadow. Unlock the door, step outside, feel the freedom running through your mind. Oh, now it's time to gather all your friends. And we don't have to wonder when we can live again. And we won't wonder why we even tried. Because we feel right now that life is hard, but hope is coming, let down your guard. Someday soon I know we'll be out of the shadow, out of the shadow. Months of darkness just to fight. Join together, we will rise. Because we feel right now that life is hard, but hope is coming, let down your guard. Someday soon I know, out of the shadow, out of the shadow, we will rise. We'll be out of the shadow.
Hey,
Hi.
what a beautiful song. You know, I don't know if you can tell, but my smile just got bigger. And I don't even know which scene, which little snippet of that video made me smile bigger. Was it the one with the dog with the stick that's way bigger than he is? Because that reminds me, my dog would always take and it was also a golden retriever, always find the biggest sticks. Like, how does he do this?
I don't know.
Or the picture of the dog looking, maybe it's just a dog, but no, you know, the picture of the dog looking out the window just when you said
That's my
looking out the
dog.
window. Is
Yeah.
that your dog?
Yeah, the black one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, really cute. Or when you tried to do the cartwheel and you
Oh,
end up
God.
on your back.
That outfit was too tight for a cartwheel. I was not trying to rip my pants on camera.
What a beautiful song. How did that song come? Tell me the back. Okay, Mo Mondays, we're all about the story behind the story. And when we're talking to a musician, singer-songwriter, we want to know the story behind the song. So go for it.
Yeah, like I said, it was kind of at the beginning of quarantine, the first couple weeks of doing the live streams, and I'm a very type A person. I'm very organized. I like to be busy. My calendar's always full. So it was very shocking for me to suddenly have nothing to do, no job to go to. So I was starting to get back into music, and I was just feeling really kind of useless. Like I felt like I didn't really have a purpose because every day was the same and it was nothing every day. So I started to kind of mess around with different songs, and Out of the Shadow, like the title, was the first thing that came into my head. And I'm primarily a guitar player, but I decided to just sit down at the piano the one night and just started putting some stuff together. And it was a pretty quick process. Sometimes it takes a while to write a song, but that one I think was just somewhere inside, and it took about 20 minutes. And then
That's magical. Magical when that happens.
Yeah, it was, and just getting it out into the open and into the world, like it just felt, oh, this is my purpose. This is what I need to be doing with my time, which is why the live streams are incredible, because it gave me something to look forward to and a way to be in the community, even though I couldn't be out in the community.
And so you solicited little video clips from people.
I did. I was hounding people for weeks. I was like, send them to me. I want to see them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really fun though, just getting all the entries and just seeing how people were having fun in their own homes.
It's just phenomenal. So you're also, and we've got little clues about you here. You're also very story based, and you're also very community based, very community minded, and you're working with Rob on this website, on this Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me about that.
Like the Guelph This and That group?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think you mentioned like Carmela and himself, they were the admins for the group. And I think Carmela knew my mom. Like it was just kind of a quick thing where she was like, oh, you know, if you have nothing to do, just pop on, play a few songs whenever you feel like it. And, you know, I was looking at my calendar and I was like, well, I have literally nothing else to be doing. So I would start to put together like a 30 to 40 minute show, and it just kind of became more consistent. And there was the same people, which is, it's funny because I've never met half these people, but the same people from the community that were watching, and people started requesting songs. So
neat. So would you say that you're like, this could be one of the inadvertent great marketing tools to attract an audience, your fan base?
yeah. Yes, honestly, like quarantine has been the best thing for my music career. It's just allowed me to reach out to so many more people. Not just to like grow my audience in like a selfish way as a musician, but just actually connecting with people and getting to, tell my story.
Listen, I know, let's just have that comment out. Yes, we need to attract an audience. We need to grow our fan base. We all need to, all of us do, whether we're in music or we're speaking or doing whatever. But the reason why we want that is because we want to connect and share our message.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like,
and that's a very noble thing. That's a very noble thing, okay? I just want to make sure that you hear that.
Thank you. Yes, I appreciate it. I feel like it's tough sometimes because, you know, you'll play a show like at a bar or at whatever. I play at weddings and stuff, so you don't get to really talk. You just play your songs, or, you know, people are at the bar and they're not really paying attention. So it's nice that it was kind of like my own little space, and I got to kind of run the show, and I could answer comments and say how I felt about stuff or address certain issues that were happening like in the news. And I just felt like it was the first time I got to actually like kind of figure out who I was as a performer, not just as a singer. So it was definitely beneficial in that way for sure.
Interesting. So the feedback that we get from a lot of musicians who perform at momondays, the live shows, is they say, after they get off stage and they say, wow, this is amazing. You know, I didn't have to sing over the sound of beer drinking and bar fights. No, they're not bar fights. But you know what, right? Like people are there because they want to hear you. They want to connect with you. It's right. You are part of the show that they have come to see and hear. Yeah. So, and that's a very special thing about momondays.
Yeah.
Well, that's what musicians say anyway.
Yeah. No, I'm very excited to get to play in like live at some point.
And you will. And if you want to go to some of the neighboring momondays, you know, there are some people who make it their mission to go to as many momondays as they can travel to.
Yeah.
I'm just planting the seed there. Planting the seed there, right? You see? So, Todd, you know, okay, you're another one who won this very coveted award. Talk to me about that. What did you win it for?
So it was actually because of the live stream. So I think it was Abhi that nominated me. A little went behind my back, which I'm glad that he also won one. But yeah, it was just for, you know, like Rob said, the time that I put into the live streams. And I knew I was getting the award. Like Abhi called me the day before and had mentioned, you know, where are you going to be at this time? Can you be here? So I knew, and I'd gotten comments from people throughout quarantine saying, you know, your live streams have really helped. And I already felt very validated that I, you know, had helped some people in the community. But it was so overwhelming, Michelle. Having all of the cars, like it was a parade, getting the paper from Cam, like one of the best moments of my life, just to know how much of a difference it made in the community, because I'm born and raised in Guelph. I love Guelph so much. So just to kind of hear a thank you from the community, I was like, oh my gosh, like, please, you guys have helped me just as much as I've helped you.
There is a special vibe in Guelph. There really
Yeah.
is. And I got to tell you, like there are some big cities, I'm talking real big cities, where it's hard to find a great venue for musicians, or a venue for momondays. And like in Guelph, what, there are like 5 or 6 viable options, like great music town.
Yeah. Yeah,
People
there's a
really
lot of
care.
places.
And we've I think over the years we've been at 4 different venues for momondays, and every single one of them I go in, I say, wow, this place is great. Wow, like there's a
Yeah.
beautiful abundance of choice there.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure to sing in a lot of the venues in Guelph, and now I'm slightly over drinking age, so I hope to continue to sing in some more that I haven't had the chance to before. So yeah, we
Slightly
definitely.
over drinking age. So how many years have you been going to the bars?
Only to sing, only to sing.
All right. All right. Speaking of only to sing, you've got a song for us tonight.
Yes.
So tell me.
So Abhi requested this one. So I'm going to play Red Flag. So that was the single that I released prior to Out of the Shadow. And both of those songs will be on my next song.
I watched that one too. I love that song.
Thank you. All right. You just let me know that if you can hear it properly. Yeah. You were trouble from the start. You snuck your way into my heart. That's when I knew it was you. Months go by, still I try. Like a kite we flew so high up in the sky. I'm shaking, I'm burning. We jumped in this furnace, now I see. Oh baby, these were the red flags telling me I loved you. Please prove to me that you still want me to. When it rains, it pours, I'm falling on the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, how many more red flags? You lit a fire in my soul, threw fear against the wall. No regrets. We jumped into the sun. That's when I knew you were the one. Oh no. Oh baby, these were the red flags telling me I loved you. Please prove to me that you still want me to. When it rains, it pours, I'm falling on the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, how many more red flags? Red flags. Red flags. These were the red flags telling me I loved you. Please prove to me that you still want me to. When it rains, it pours, I'm falling on the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh, these were the red flags telling me I loved you. Please prove to me that you still want me to. When it rains, it pours, I'm falling on the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, how many more red flags?
Woohoo! Yes.
Thank you.
You know what? We got to do better than that here.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Awesome song. Awesome song. Very cool. Tell me the story behind that one.
So I wish I had a more exciting one, but I went to Seneca College for music, so we had to write a song, and it was kind of our full year-long culminating project. So that I wrote the song, I did a demo for it, I picked my musicians, and then I got to go into the studio in Toronto and kind of be the boss and like record it in the studio like that. So that was just for a project, but it was a really fun one because it was the first time that I kind of took the lead and got to be like the creative director for a song like that.
And so is there a real story behind that song? I know sometimes there is and sometimes there isn't.
Normally I try to have something very personal. That one was just kind of a mix of like all the boys that I've ever had issues with, and I kind of just threw it in a song, but it's fine.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I totally get it. There are still some songs that my wife asks me about. It says, so what's that about? I said, no, it's just totally made up, I promise.
Yeah, I'm not calling anyone out specifically.
Yeah, yeah.
I know who they are.
That's the next album.
Yeah.
Really, really good song. So, I don't know if people have noticed, but in this episode, we're putting our the people's URLs under their names on the screen. So we saw Rob's, we saw Abhi's, and now we see CJ's, and you said, CJ, you do weddings and you're available for amphitheaters and large concerts of 20,000 or more, I believe.
Super Bowls.
Yes.
Yes. Really, really great stuff. I'm just really looking forward to seeing how your career takes off post-COVID.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, really good stuff. Rob.
Yes.
I would love to ask you a question.
Uh-oh.
No, you've heard me ask, Abhi, how has the process of speaking at momondays changed your understanding of your own story? You might have heard me say this before. In fact, I know you've heard me say this before, but I believe that as moHosts, we have the best seat in the house. And we have the best seat in the house because we are walking the journey with the speakers leading up to the show. We are with them, standing beside them at the show. We watch and feel with the audience all the response that they're getting. And then we're there after the show to kind of do the debrief, and we're there every step of the way. And I believe that when we have the best seat in the house, we don't leave that seat kind of unscathed ourselves. It changes who we are and our understanding of our life and our mission and who we are. And so, Rob, I want to turn this around to you. It says, what has moHosting, or how has moHosting changed you?
Well, for many years, I'm an entrepreneur, and for many years, I spent a lot of hours in my business. And when I was in high school, in my early 20s, I'm an extrovert. I had a lot of friends, traveled the world, did all that. But then there was a time for about, 10 or 13 years, give or take, that I just kind of almost reclused a little bit, to the point where it was almost making me, it was weighing on me, and I wasn't very happy all the time. It's a bit of a grind, but a lot of us, we need the social to recharge, those of us that are extroverts.
And some of us are introverts too, by the way.
Yeah. Well, we're all a mix. But I think doing the momondays shows and meeting 6 new people every month and getting to know them and hear their stories, for me personally, a lot of my business that I did in the past, even though I lived in Guelph, a lot of it was done outside of Guelph. So I lived in the community, but I would say I wasn't that much a part of the community. And where this has really blessed me in the last couple of years is just I've gotten to know so many people that are just, a stone's throw away, that I'm able to have relationships, go for coffee, go to the pub, go watch music, go for a walk, text message on Facebook and all sorts of stuff. Come be in my videos. I've had some people that I met became extras in my commercials. So it's just been a really wonderful experience. It's almost addictive, I would say at this point. I'm really, really starting to feel the absence of not being able to do a momondays show. I think it's been since late February since we've been able to do a show. So I'm really hoping that we'll be able to get these things back going in one capacity or another, hopefully in the autumn.
I think the key, the operative word there is in one capacity or another, because you know that we're having some internal conversations of how we could do a blend, a hybrid, that I think there's some interesting ideas that we're going to be talking about this week with the whole mo-hosting community. So
it sounds great.
So yeah, Abhi, what final words would you like to leave with us?
Oh, I'd say, this time of COVID, I think, has given a lot of people time to reflect on the role that they see themselves play in the community. And I think the story of COVID has been largely, in my experience, observing what's going on around Guelph, is hundreds of little acts of kindness, right? And hundreds of little acts of neighborliness, of community spirit. And I hope that when we go back to a new normal, people don't forget this aspect and this few days of their lives, and continue to lean in on and continue to practice belonging as a habit, and home as a practice, and go from there.
CJ?
Yeah, kind of to jump on Abhi's point, just the acts of kindness and really getting into the community and just meet people. You never know who you're going to meet. And I've definitely been affected very positively throughout all of this by all the incredible people I've met. So yeah, I hope people remember what this feels like and treat people well after this is over.
And promise
if
me
you read
promise me you'll play more music.
Oh, of course. I'll never stop.
Michelle, I was going to say, and if people read your shirt, what does that say? You meet the nicest people at momondays. That is absolutely true.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rob. Thank you for saying that. That's true. I just said, what t-shirt am I going to wear on this episode of moTV? I know you meet the nicest people at momondays. And if, by the way, if anybody wants a t-shirt like this, available in many different colors, long sleeve, short sleeve, T-cut, T-neck, or whatever it's called, V-neck, that's what it is. It's all, the links are on the website, momondays.com. So I'm going to say goodnight to you, and I'm just going to save one little drink for the audience. That was another episode of moTV. I want to thank you for tuning in, listening, and looking forward to seeing you live. See you soon.